Fitness goals are important, but what's the difference between a good one and a bad one? SMART goals. That's been the standard for setting goals for, I don't know, quite a few years. You want to set something that isn't so crazy that you're going to get overwhelmed. You want something that actually has a time frame so you know when you're going to achieve it, so you can stay on target, and you want something that you actually want to do and something that you can measure. But here's the problem. Setting realistic goals, that's the real issue. When you decide to set a realistic goal, you instantly cap off what you are going to be able to do. It actually isn't my idea. I read it in a book by a guy named Matt Frazier. He was just some regular guy, regular runner, and one day he decided he was going to try to qualify for the Boston Marathon. He decided to set an unattainable goal. He had never ran a marathon before, and him and his buddies just said, you know what, we're just going to run a Boston Marathon. And in his book, he talks about how that was actually one of the keys to success to how he became so fit and how he's able to keep going and keep striving on the days he didn't want to go. But most people don't set big enough goals. They limit themselves and they never really find out their true potential. So instead of setting a goal like, I want to run a marathon someday, they're only setting a goal like, I'm just going to run 5K. So in the book, he says things like, most people never see any action because they set their goals too low. If they set their goals higher, then that would actually excite them and make them and force them to change, inspire them to change. So that's kind of what I did, and I was thinking about that in my last summer. After I read that book, I got inspired and I decided that I was going to run a half Ironman. At that time, I was only doing 10-kilometer races, the odd one. So if I had never decided to make a goal that wasn't realistic, you limit yourself right away, because you, where you are right now is not where you want to be. You're unfit right now, so you're already limited on what you think you can be, right? Now, if I went and asked an Olympian, hey, set a goal, they might be able to set a realistic goal that is actually realistic. But if you ask someone that is underperforming to set a realistic goal, they're going to just give you a goal that is underperformed because they don't know any better. So the best advice is to choose something so big, not like I want to run across the country next week, but the point is you set a goal that is so inspiring and so big that you have to actually train for it. Now that doesn't change the fact that you still have to set time-based goals and steps towards that goal. So if you wanted to run your first marathon, that's a great, crazy, awesome goal that's going to inspire a lot of change in you. But you shouldn't say, I'm going to run a marathon in 4 months. You say you're going to run a marathon in maybe a couple years or a year, and then you start making those SMART goals towards that big goal. But if you don't have that big goal, you're never going to see how great you can be. You're never going to be forced to change. He says in the book, I always know that I've set a good goal when something about it scares me. Setting a goal too low is worse than setting a goal too high. The goal should actually scare you. Because in the shape you're in right now, you shouldn't be able to do that goal. You shouldn't aspire to do a goal that you know you can already do, because then you're just going to stay the same. Aspire to do something you've never done before, and then you'll be forced to become the person that can do that. You'll be forced to start acting like that person that can run a marathon. So I think that is one of the keys to fitness goals, which is setting an unrealistic goal and then making steps towards that goal that are realistic, that are time-based, that will get you on that way, but you still have that unrealistic goal of someone to strive to be, to become, and then you will become that person. So I just wanted to share this quick little tip about unrealistic goals because this really worked for me. It got me to stop looking inside the box of 10-kilometer races and jump way outside the box into triathlons and then half Ironmans, and now this year a full Ironman race, which I never would have done if I didn't read this book and I didn't take that advice from Matt Frazier. So hopefully you guys can take it and choose an unrealistic goal as well. And as always, make sure you're always training for a reason.